Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste and a very warm welcome to yet another session in our Weekend with Wisdom series. We begin our study and reflection on a very interesting and not very commonly known text, Prabodha Sudhakara. And to take us through this text, we have with us Swami Shantivratananda ji. Namaste, Swamiji. Thank you so much for joining us.
Namaste.
Let us begin the session with an invocation. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunattu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu, ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Revered Swami Shantivratananda ji is presently the Minister in Charge, Ramakrishna Vedanta Center, Dublin, the Republic of Ireland, after having served at Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Moral and Spiritual Education, Mysore, India, for 8.5 years, 8.5 years. Inspired by the life and teachings of the Holy Trio, treading his austere journey and underwent various rigorous and intense training in Sanskritam, Vedic chanting, meditation, contemplation, and ritualistic workshops. Swamiji was initiated by the most revered Swami Ranganathananda ji Maharaj and initiated into monastic vows by the most revered Atmasthananda ji Maharaj. The motivational speaker that he is, through his inspiring and dynamic approach, has effectively counseled and revived many young students and adolescents from stress and depression. He was in charge of Balaka Sangha and Taruna Sangha, Cultural Center for Boys and Adolescents. Without further delay, I would like to invite Swamiji and begin the session. Over to you, Swamiji. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Hari. Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhum Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Nityanandaikarasam Satchit Matram Swayam Jyotihim Purushottamamajam Isham Vande Sri Yadavadisham. Dear spiritual aspirants, Suprabhatam. It is a 5:30 a.m. in the Dublin, in the cold, probably 3 to 4 degree. Inside and outside it may be a bit even less. Anyhow, so thank you one and all for giving this wonderful opportunity to discuss few tenets of non-dualistic philosophy, that is Advaita philosophy. And of course, probably I would like to thank Nitinji for this, because this was one of the wonderful opportunity for myself to read Prabodha Sudhakara. Though even I had not read the Prabodha Sudhakara earlier. I had read many other Prakana Granthas, which is ascribed to Adi Shankaracharya. But even Prabodha Sudhakara was the first time for me to read. So for whole week, I was doing Vedantic Chintana in deep to talk. Anyhow, Prabodha Sudhakara is uncommon treatise which is ascribed to Adi Shankaracharya. But it is a wonderful book. When I started reading, I enjoyed the study of this book. And what is this Prabodha Sudhakara? The meaning itself, because for many of us, Sanskrit is a Greek and Latin, we don't understand many things. And our Sanskrit language is so rich. Prabodha Sudhakara. Prabodha means awakening. Sudhakara means ocean of nectar. So awakening, ocean of nectar means when any individual gets a spiritual knowledge or self-knowledge, he gets the ocean of nectar. Because the moment he understands who am I, he gets self-awakening, self-knowledge. Then what does he get? Does his bank balance improve? Or does he get a good promotion in the professional life? Or his family problems are solved? Or day-to-day problems can be solved by this? Sometimes, why should we study Vedanta? This type of question we do get. So the name of the title of the book itself says that by having self-knowledge, you get ocean of nectar. Not little. In the scriptures, they say that the material pleasures are like probably a drop of honey. Once in a while you get it. So once in a while you get a drop of honey, and for that we are always obsessed with the materialistic pleasures. And when you get a self-awakening, or when you get self-knowledge, then what you get? You get a ocean of nectar, ocean of bliss, and you become blissful. That's all. That is your nature. That is an interesting meaning, in deep meaning for this Prabodha Sudhakara. But at the same time, there is a difference of opinion, or there are difference of opinions regarding this book. That some say that no, this book is not written by Adi Shankaracharya. It is written by one of the Shankaracharya, but it is ascribed to Adi Shankaracharya. But anyhow, we shall not go to that details whether it is written actually Adi Shankaracharya or some Shankaracharyas. Whoever is written, it is a nice book. So we shall take the tenets of the Vedanta philosophy which is discussed in this book, and we shall go ahead. And one more commentator or one more Pandit has written that this is the last work of Adi Shankaracharya. If that is the case, and that will be very interesting for all of us, this is the interesting information for all of us. Why? Because it is the last work of Adi Shankaracharya. And this work starts with the salutations to Sri Krishna, Yadavadisha, which I uttered. And also it ends with the devotion. This is one of the salient feature of this book. Though it is Advaita Vedanta, Gnanareva Gariyasi, knowledge is the supreme. Through knowledge alone, one can get moksha or mukti. As Advaita Vedanta says, Shankaracharya keeps on telling, then he says that, here, even he ends with the devotion. That is one of the, again, salient feature of this book. Now, what does it discuss actually? Say, for example, we all know that one of the Mahavakya, which is a very famous, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that Brahman. I am that Brahman. So Brahman and I will become one, or I am that Brahman. Still there is a duality here. Why? Because this I refers to inherent ego or individual. And this Brahman refers to existence, conscious, bliss absolute. Still there is a division or still the duality. So the moment we understand, the moment we realize, the moment we experience, who am I? Then even the duality also ceases to exist. I don't say that there will be no person to say that I am that Brahman. Rather, there will be only the experiencer. Experiencer, experienced, and experience. Am, that auxiliary verb, denotes, refers to that process. So when the moment you experience, only the experiencer lives and none else. And what is that state and how to attain that state has been discussed in this Prabodha Sudhakara. That is the reason it is all interested for all of us. And this is one of the Prakarana Grantha. Like Tattva Bodha is there, Aparoksha Anubhuti is there, Atma Bodha is there, Vedanta Sara is there. There are so many Prakarana Granthas. So among so many Prakarana Granthas, Prabodha Sudhakara is also one of the Prakarana Grantha of Advaita Vedanta, the non-dualistic philosophy. So what do you mean by Prakarana Grantha? Shastraika Desha Sambandham, Shastra Karyantare Sthitam, Avu Prakaranam Nama, Shastra Veda Vipaschitaha or Vichakshanaha. The learned people say that a book which deals only with a particular topic or a part of a scripture is known as Prakarana Grantha. Our Indian scriptures are like ocean. It has got so many ideas and so many views and so many topics. I think traditionally 8 to 9 topics has to be discussed. And in this Prakarana Grantha, though some Prakarana Granthas are introductory text, it is not that all Prakarana Granthas are introductory in the nature. Rather, 1 or 2 or 3 of the main topics has been taken and that has been discussed in detail. So it is a treatise basically. That is what the definition of Prakarana Grantha. When you see in Taittiriya Upanishad, there is a raso vaisaha. It is sweetness or sweetness of everything. In the same Upanishad, we also come across Anandi Bhavati. One whoever understands it, he or she becomes blissful. So these both Upanishadic statements should be read together and should be understood. Means one who is aware of the sweetness of bliss, he remains in that state of bliss or he is blissful. He is blissful and he becomes blissful. So how to reach this state is explained in Prabodha Sudhakara. And it has got 19 chapters and 257 verses. And even this chapter's division and the discussions are very interesting. It starts directly after salutations to the Yadavadisha, that is Sri Krishna, doing the Mangalacharana. He starts attacking directly. The author starts attacking directly, strongly on the body. Means what? What do you mean by that? I mean, attacking in the sense it is not beating or physical mishandling. No. Here means, oh, why are you attaching? Why are you attached to this physical body? And why are you get entangled in this Maya or in the ignorance? Oh, my dear, you are blissful. So get out from this body. I mean, get out from this body is get out from this attachment, get out from the attachment to the body. Very strongly, author keeps on saying for around 28 verses, he discusses and he gives so many ideas, or he tries to explain so many ways. By reading and understanding and probably putting into practice, then we'll be able to detach ourselves from this body. If you observe, subtly, till from your birth to death, your body only accompanies you at the grass level actually. Parents will leave us sometime, wife may leave, children may leave, friends, relatives, known people, neighbors, everyone will depart at some point of time. At least otherwise we depart. When we die, we depart, all of them. But till our death, from birth to death, this physical body, this grass body is the only one instrument, it is the only one entity which keeps on coming all along. Whether I am a millionaire or whether I have got a bankrupt. Whether I am beautiful and young and adolescent and energetic, or whether I become old and deceased. Whether I am a celebrity, or whether I have lost all my name and fame. Whatever it may be, this body comes all along with me. And obviously, it is my body. It is my body, so I am attached. It is my body, no doubt, but most of the time we are thinking, I am the body. That is the whole problem is. This body is a wonderful instrument given by the nature, according to our prarabdha karma, to enjoy or to suffer or to experience our karma phala and go further in the spiritual life. It is a wonderful instrument. Now we are all using either Zoom, a computer, or laptops, or desktops, or mobile phones to either to speak this Prabodha Sudhakara class, and all over the world. I am speaking from Dublin, and you are all hearing from India and from some other states or countries, using the instrument called laptop or desktop or mobile or whatever. It is an instrument. So we use the instrument to hear this class. So there we know very clearly, this is my mobile phone, this is my vehicle, this is my computer, this is my desktop. The similar idea should be there on us also, on this body also. This is my body, it belongs to me, no doubt, but it is a wonderful instrument given by God or nature to using this, let me experience the self. Let me experience the God. That should be our idea. Even Sankhya also says, Prakriti is for what? Prakriti is for bhoga and apavarga of the Purusha. This idea we should have. But unfortunately, we are not having. We are attached to this, and we are always busy in feeding this, nurturing this, maintaining this. And basically, in one word, we are always busy in sense gratification. As a result, we are struck with this limited pleasures or with the little pleasures, and we are missing the highest bliss. That's what the author discusses in the first chapter. And also, if you see in the scriptures, there is a two approach regarding this physical body, especially. One is either you think this body as the temple where God resides. I think Lord Basavanna, whoever has heard Ullavaru Shivalaya Vachana, we can remember that. Yana kale kamba, dehave degula, shirave ponna, kalashavaya. My legs are pillars of the temple, and this body, the trunk portion is the body of the temple, and the head, my head is the kalasa of the temple, and God is residing, the Shiva or the God is residing here, and I am worshipping. So either feel that this body is the temple of the God, and you start thinking it again and again, that this body is the temple of the God, and I should keep on worshipping the God. How? By practicing meditation, by practicing japam, by leading a moral life, ethical life, and trying to become more and more devoted, or try to attain more and more self-knowledge or self-awakening. This is one approach. The other approach is this whole body, this so physical body, and we're all attracted. And they say youngsters especially, every day at least minimum 60 to 70 to 100 times they look after in the mirror. Of course, nowadays even you don't need a mirror because mobile phone is enough. We have got a beautiful screen guard, and where it is a good reflection, we'll keep on seeing ourselves. Why? So much we are attached, so we will keep on seeing ourselves because of that attachment. And author gives a beautiful example. Look, when you are walking on the road, just a bone is lying there. Maybe a bone of a dead animal, just a bone, mere bone. If you are taking a pet dog in Europe and Western countries, this is very common. They go along with the pet dogs. And sometimes we have to wonder whether dog is leading the man or man is leading the dog. That's how it happens sometimes. And they're all obsessed with so much with these pet dogs and all. And if a dog sees a bone, what does it do? It immediately goes and it holds it, and it keeps on biting, isn't it? And when it keeps on biting, the saliva and the blood oozes out from his own mouth, and it consumes it, and it feels that, it thinks that the taste is in the bone, but it is not in the bone, rather it was in its own blood or in its own saliva. But the dog is mistaken. And we see that, oh, that is a bone, why this dog is getting attached to it, or why dog is so much interested in this bone. We feel awkward sometimes. Oh, there is a bone. Oh, it is unholy. We should not go there. We will take a diversion. We will take care of ourselves so that we will not touch it. But this whole body is covered with so many bones, and it is only covered nicely. It has been covered with the skin, but still we are attached and we are not getting detachment. What a pity, and what a astonishing information this is. The author says that just if you see a one bone on the ground, immediately you feel awkward, unholy, or whatever. So, and the whole of your body is covered with, n number of bones, and still you are attached to this body. How foolish you are. The author is not using in a derogative sentence, a derogative way. Rather, he is telling that please don't get attached to this body. This body is a wonderful instrument, no doubt. Use it for self-realization, but don't get attached and don't limit yourself in the sense gratification. That is what his basic idea. And also he continues by saying, it has got muscles, it has got bones, bone marrow, pus, and blood, and filthy excreta. All these things it contains, this body. And why are you still attached to this body, physical body or grass body, my dear? Please get out from this. And also he tells that. Now, why I'm telling again and again this? He explains reason. He gives a beautiful logic, a rationale too. How much ever information you might have got, how much ever scriptural knowledge you might have got, but by just having an intellectual knowledge, you don't get realization. Sakshatkara, we say. Atma Sakshatkara, Brahma Sakshatkara, or in the devotional aspect, Bhagavat Sakshatkara. The realization of self or realization of God won't come. Then he says that you need dispassion, vairagya. Vairagya means it is not renunciation. Here, vairagya, viraga means it is detachment. Be detached to this body. Since you are attached, that's why you are taking again and again birth and death. You are got stuck in this samsara chakra. So that's the reason, if you want to come out from this cycle of samsara chakra, janana marana samsara chakra, then be detached, and uses the word dispassion. The more and more you get dispassion, achieve dispassion, and the more it is directly proportional to your progress. More dispassion, more spiritual progress. Still more dispassion, still more spiritual progress. So you may be using karma yoga or bhakti yoga or gnana yoga, raja yoga, or all of this as a means to achieve God realization, spiritual realization, self-realization. But until otherwise you get a dispassion, all of them will not give much benefit for you. So dispassion is the utmost necessity for all of us. So develop dispassion. To develop dispassion, he keeps on telling about this nature of the body. So try to detach yourself, try to reduce your attachment and get out from this attachment to this body. And he also says that what is the difference between human and animals? Animals are always busy in either acquiring food, protecting themselves from the, other animals or from the natural disasters and etc. But this type of problems are less in the human being. And apart from that, communication power and the power of discrimination is given by the God for human being alone. So you have to use it properly, legitimately, carefully, and make use of it, and you get realization or you attain self-realization. Otherwise, your life is in vain. Pumso vinaragam muktehe adhikatan syat. Means without this dispassion, you won't get mukti. So try to develop that dispassion by discrimination between what is real, what is unreal, what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, what is best, and what is good. This also is very, very important. Just like eating chocolates always may be good, delicious, but it kills your health. Your tooth may get problem, especially we see in some children, because of continuous eating chocolates, they lose their tooths, isn't it? So there's a difference between good and best also. So we should understand that also. So when you are getting best, why you choose for the good? So try to choose the best. What is that best? It is self-realization. And when you hear all these things, you may get a question, Swamiji, that means should we leave all our enjoyment? Should we leave all our day-to-day affairs? And we should keep on thinking about self-knowledge? Should we keep on thinking about God? No, we don't mean that. Though it may be ideal, but it is not possible for all of us. Why? We have got our professional life, we have got our domestic life, we have got our own responsibilities and all. But as much as possible, we shall dedicate our time for this spiritual pursuit or for this self-knowledge pursuit. That's what the author is trying to tell that. So make use this human birth. Manav Janma Doddado Kuchapagalira. Prabodha beautifully he tells in one of his song or padas that we should remember. This is one of the wonderful opportunity given by the God. So make use of it. And after many births, after undergoing as a worm or a beast or animals, different animals, we have got this human body. If you don't make use of it, then you will be the number one fool, or even you will be the best among the fools. This is what told by Adi Shankaracharya in this book or in this treatise. And he also says that every minute is important. As we all know, time and tide waits for none. Time is very important. And he beautifully explains. You want some time. You are the old age now. You want to do some best thing, like maybe meditation, maybe spiritual practices. But unfortunately, your body is not supporting because it has got a lot of ailments. It is diseased now. So you are not able to sit properly for a long time. You are not able to get up because of rheumatism or some other problems. Then you think, okay, I've got $1 million of rupees. Then let me give some money for some people or for someone and let me buy the time. If you think so, you cannot. You may give millions of golden coins because in that time probably golden coins was natural. So the author is using that example. You may give thousands of golden coins just to get 1 minute, but you can't get it. Why? You cannot buy the time. You cannot purchase the time. You can purchase many things in the world by the money, but never you can purchase the time. So whatever the time you have got, my dear, please don't waste it. Rather, use it legitimately, use it carefully. Every minute, every moment, be alert, be mindful, be conscious, and try to practice spiritual practices and whatever the other necessities are there in your life, try to keep on doing. But basically, don't waste your time. So after said this, don't waste time and don't be attached to this body. Dispassion is very important. Dispassion is a paramount for spiritual life, which is a base and substratum. He takes an interesting topic is Vishayaninda Prakaranam. Means condemnation of senses it is not senses actually, sense pleasures. We are all obsessed with the sense pleasures. If you use an Indian scenario, an Indian cultural scenario, if youngsters, I was going in today 120 kilometer speed in the highway. It was so thrilling, some problem happens, then he will say goodbye to us and he will meet Lord Emma and parents will be crying. So like this, we are always obsessed with the sense gratification. Even today, internet surfacing, using social medias, it is also becoming sense gratification. And at least earlier we had options to choose what to. Now the social medias are binding us in so much so that we'll be bound to use it. Or rather, by looking few probably films or by looking few videos, they will understand that what we are interested. So similar type of videos, similar type of sites, similar type of stories or whatnot is given He supplied for us so much, and we'll be get lost there. And finally, there will be no constructive work at all done. Oh, I have spent 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours in this internet with the social media sometimes. But what happens? It is mere sense pleasures or sense gratification. So that your body, mind, senses, everything becomes weak and it is not productive. And I'm not against using social media. So please use it, no doubt. It gives a lot of information. You can give a lot of information to the public. There are wonderful social media sites also, but we have to use legitimately. So if you are carried over by the sense pleasures, then you are losing the nectar. You are losing the bliss. And he gives a wonderful example, like a human body is ravaged by the senses. How? Like floods ravaging the building. I think recently, 2 or 3 months before, I think, in Bangalore, we had a floods everywhere because of torrents of rain. Again and again, everywhere there were floods. All the, even posh area, beautiful buildings, beautiful houses, everywhere, it was flooded with water. After some time, a day or 2 or 3, water subsided, but a lot of debris, lot of mud, and so many other filthy items probably would have been retained, would have been stayed back. Then we had to clean the house, and probably sometimes we may have to do whitewash up for the house. So in the floods, the whole building, it is a beautiful building. Lakhs of rupees or few crores might have been used to get constructed that house. Beautiful mason it is, beautiful building. But in the floods, it is flooded with the water, it is flooded with all the dirty things, mud or soil, whatnot. In that case, you cannot walk, you cannot move from one room to another. People were standing on the roof, people were asking for the help, etc., etc. So similarly, when we are obsessed with, when we are bound with sense gratifications, then we cannot move. How? Why? Because we are tied with these sense gratifications. Then there will be no progress for us. As a result, we have to be careful. And Sri Ramakrishna gives a beautiful example. Once there was a huge garden where rice bags were stored. Unfortunately, suddenly some rats entered and they started cutting the bags and they started consuming. As a result, many, bags, they were getting cut because of the rats. And he tried so many methods, but still he was unable to control the rats. Then when he was discussing with his friend, his friend told, why do you bother? You bring puffed rice and feed the rats. He gave this idea to his friend. This fellow was very honored. What? Already I'm struggling and I'm suffering. I want to get rid of these rats, and you are telling that feed them by providing puffed rice. Then they will increase in their numbers and they will do harm more to my business. What type of friend you are? What is your intention? Like that, the other guy got angry and annoyed and he started scolding him. The friend said, look, wait, please allow to fulfill my sentences or my intention. Allow me to tell my intentions. When I say that, you feed them with puffed rice. Say for an example, one bag probably it comes 50 liters or 100 liters or whatever. 50, because since you have got so many rats, you are saying, you bring one bag of puffed rice and you put it in and around the gunny bags, the rice gunny bags. Since it is a good amount of puffed rice, what happens? Rats keeps on eating. Yes, you are right. Rats keeps on eating, but they'll be busy in eating the puffed rice. They will never come to your rice bag. So at the most, one gunny bag of puffed rice, I don't know probably what is the rate in India now in the puffed rice, maybe 500 or 1000 rupees. So just by spending 1000 rupees, and you are saving your thousands of rupees. Why don't you do it? Why don't you try? Then this fellow said, okay, it is a good idea. Let me think. Let me try. What is the wrong in it? And he brought a bag of puffed rice and he spilled it around the gunny bags of rice and he left. And for his astonishment, even for a few days, the rats were busy in eating puffed rice. They never went to the rice at all. So when we are, get struck with the sense pleasures itself, then we are not able to enjoy the pleasures which we get from the mind, from the feelings, which we are also not able to experience the pleasure or the happiness which we get from the thoughts. When you live at the level of thoughts, there is a beautiful experience or beautiful happiness. And the self happiness, when you go to the level of self, when you experience who are you, then you will get the blissful form, unalloyed bliss, eternal bliss. The sense pleasures are momentary. Now it is there when you are enjoying. After 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it is there. Afterwards, it is not there. And beautifully, Nachiketa tells in Kathopanishad, Indriyanam jarayanti tejaha. When Yama says that, I will give you so many beautiful women, and I will give you gold, I will give you horses, I will give you elephants, and I will give you children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, good wives, and I will give a palace if you want, if you wish. I will make you the king of the whole world, emperor of the whole world. So please don't ask for Atma Gnana. Atma, when he says this, when he gives this temptation, Nachiketa says that, my dear, but you may give all these things, fine. I may also enjoy it, no doubt, but by enjoying, what happens? I lose the vigor, the energy, the strength of the senses and mind. The more I enjoy, the more I lose the strength and vigor of my mind and energy. And after some time, what happens? Then I will be boiled down to, I'll be reduced to eat the boiled vegetables. Today, many of us, when we are after middle age, when we are old age or little, we have got all the riches. And because we have earned enough money now, we want to enjoy the life. But because we have got health issues, because we didn't have a balanced life, discriminative life, we have abused our body and mind. As a result, we have got some diseases, many diseases. Then the doctor says that you should not eat sweets. You should not eat oily items. Then what you should eat? Maybe little brown rice or millets or ragi or just more of vegetables, boiled vegetables. So like this, then we'll be reduced to just mere boiled vegetables, 1 or 2 chapatis, or just little ragi or ragi dosa, ragi mudde or whatever. So because why? We abused our body by sense pleasures. So your body is not meant for just having sense pleasures. You get highest bliss, highest pleasure, or highest happiness, that is self-knowledge. So try to understand that and don't get struck with the sense gratification or enjoying in the sense pleasures. That's why I always keeps on saying to the youngsters in India, Maja, Sukha, Ananda. These are the 3 words. Though we use as synonyms many times, but it has got a lot of difference. This Maja is instant sense gratification. That's why even I think January 1st or 31st of December, many people were having so many drinks and etc. And they were getting that intoxicated and they were behaving very weirdly. Media also were showing that. So you will get that instant sense gratification for some time. That's it. But by that again and again having that, what happens? Your body and mind becomes weak. Then Sukha, you achieved something. You got some money, you got a good job, or you achieved probably good marks, or you got a first rank in the life or in your degree graduation or wherever. Then you get some Sukha, you get some Mana, which is more productive and more constructive. Ananda. Ananda is Atmananda, Bhajanananda. So they are very constructive, very productive, and they are very eternal in nature. So we should not get stuck in the Maja and Sukha. We should go to Ananda. That we have to understand. That is what the author is trying to tell here in this Vishayaninda Prakarana. And also he tells that some people say that, oh, if I get a progeny, if I get a son, I will get moksha. No, it is a foolish idea. We need progeny, no doubt, for whatever the reasons. I'm not saying no, but if you have a progeny, you will get moksha or mukti. If someone says that is a foolish idea. Only knowledge, self-knowledge alone can give the moksha or mukti, nothing else. And you are doing so many rituals, so many puja, so many rituals you are doing it. Will it give moksha? He says that no. All of them may help, but only self-knowledge alone is able to give the moksha or mukti. So be clear in this. And also there is no point in transmigrating endlessly as with a birth and death cycle, and which are very painful for even for the grass body. He says that. Why? Because you should be in the mother's womb. When you are there, you get suffocated. You will be in midst of the blood. You will midst of so many things. And when you are coming out, also you may have some problem, and you create a lot of pain for your mother also. Then after, from your birth to death, then we need not to speak of it. Every time we keep on facing so many hurdles, problems, troubles, challenges, adverse circumstances. All these things are fine. But if we go on taking birth again and again facing this, then is there no end? Should not we end it? We can end it by having self-knowledge. So don't get attached or don't get limited yourself with the sense gratification. Try to understand that there is the highest bliss. By having self-knowledge, you can get it. So concentrate your mind, concentrate your energy to have it. That's what the author says in this particular chapter. Now, afterwards, telling about senses, condemning that if you are sense gratified person, he takes in the 3rd chapter, just only 4 verses it is Manoninda Prakarana. Manoninda is, he condemns the mind actually, in a way. See, mind is a wonderful instrument. Even today, neuroscience is telling that brain has got 100 billion cells. 1 billion cell storage capacity is 10,000 kilobytes. And you imagine, one cell capacity is 10,000 kilobytes. And if you put into, 100 billion cells, probably in one supercomputer may be there in our mind. Such a huge memory we have got. And one cell after another, if you go on putting, and if you make a thread, and probably you can prepare 2 or 3 FIFA World Cup stadiums, it seems. So many cells we have got, but we keep on saying that we don't have memory, we have got a problem with the memory, we are not genius, etc., etc. It is not so. This mind is a wonderful instrument for achieve. We can create wonders by using this wonderful instrument given by the God mind. But at the same time, it is very volatile in nature. That's what he says, that it is very restless. It is highly restless. It is very volatile in nature. Sometimes it is very happy, as if the whole world is in the hands of a person. He keeps on, he feels so happy. And after some time, hears some bad news, something happens in his life. Again, he goes extremely opposite, so much down. He feels so much depressed. Probably he may feel that I should end my life. Such a volatile nature, such extreme opposites we see in the mind. So if you allow the mind freely, what happens? It keeps on tossing between the happiness and unhappiness, joy and sorrow, between all the dualities, existing dualities in the world, and it makes us tired. So that's why be aware of this nature of the mind. The author's intention is you should have a control over the mind. You should have a mastery over the mind. You are supposed to be the master of your mind. But unfortunately, many of us, most of us, we are the servants of our mind. We are the slaves of our mind. As our mind dictates, we keep on doing it. As I dictate, my mind should do, but as mind dictates, I keeps on doing. There is a whole problem. There's a whole mistake. Like for an example, when I'm riding a horse carriage, when I'm riding a horse, I should lead the horse. I should, hold the horse and I should guide it in which way, in what direction I should, I want to go, I wish to go. But unfortunately, horse is leading me. Dushtasva, Sadashva, this is a beautiful idea is given in the Kathopanishad. Means when your mind is under control, the horses are good. When your mind is not under your control, they are called Dushtasva, bad horses. The bad horses, what do they do? It goes probably in the jungle, it may go inside the shrubs, or it may go and fall in the valley. It doesn't fall by itself. It takes us also, and it makes us to get died by falling in the valley. So you should have a control over the mind. Otherwise, mind is a wonderful instrument, and the same, it is very volatile in nature. Extremely, it is tossing from the extreme opposites. You have to be careful. Otherwise, it binds you. Why? Because the mind is the reason for our emancipation and as well as for our binding. Because all our thoughts, all our ideas are in this mind only, isn't it? That is the reason. So no stability is there. So you have to make it stable, and you have to go beyond even the mind and reach the self. Because the mind is endowed with full of opposites: love, hatred, ego, miserliness, lust, anger, whatnot. So many things it has got possessed. You have to clean it, and you have to make the fit instrument to reflect the self-conscious or to reflect the self-knowledge. Otherwise, you will have a lot of problem. I think probably there's a beautiful story told in our scriptures. How the mind behaves. Suppose if you have seen a monkey, mind is like a monkey. Now I'm sitting and talking here. Many of you are listening from your respective places. At least if not all time, many of the time, or some of the moments, at least you are concentrated. Whereas we can't expect the same thing in the monkey. Even a second or two sitting in one place is great. And other than sleeping times, it keeps on jumping from one branch of the tree to other, and it keeps on doing some notorious things. And that monkey has been bitten by scorpion. So the monkey had a scorpion bite. Because of that pain, it has become again highly restless. Monkey itself is highly restless, and the restlessness has been added because it was bit by scorpion. And some notorious people, just to have a fun, they fed this monkey with a liquor. Imagine, monkey bit by scorpion, and it has consumed now liquor. And the ghost also has entered. A spirit has entered the monkey. Now imagine what is the nature, what will be the state of the monkey. My goodness, it is sometimes probably beyond imagination. Just like what can be the state of that monkey. So similar, even our state of our mind state. That's what the scripture says. Means it is highly restless. That's what the scriptures would like to say. That's why Arjuna, who was a Maharati. Maharati means who can fight with 10,000 people at a time, is Maharati. I think only 10 or 18 Maharatis are there in the whole of Mahabharata or Kurukshetra war, if you see. And such a great person, he complains to Krishna about the nature of mind. Vayor iva sudushkaram. Means controlling the mind is like controlling the wind. Wind cannot be controlled easily. You cannot catch even the wind, isn't it? So just like how we cannot catch the wind, we cannot catch the mind. Controlling the mind is so difficult. And it has been told by Arjuna himself, then what to speak of us. So we have to control our mind, regulate our mind, so that we will be able to progress in our spiritual life. That is the intention. For that, he says, discrimination is the tool. Using discrimination, we can regulate our mind, we can control our mind, we can uplift ourselves. That has been discussed. Then I was telling, regulate your mind, control your mind. The same idea he discusses in the 5th chapter with 13 verses, Mano Nigraha Prakarana. See how step by step the author is taking. First he said that detach from your gross body, which is very important for us. Then he spoke of sense pleasures. Then he spoke of mind, nature of the mind. Then after said, then he's saying that, okay, so only this fellow is complaining, only is condemning things. Author, you should not feel. Only I was telling all these things. Be aware of the problem so that you'll be able to, understand. When the moment you understand the problem, by understanding the problem, solution lies there. Understand the solution, put into practice. Just like for an example, when you go to doctor, why you go to doctor? Because there is a problem, you go to doctor. Otherwise, we don't go. And just to say hello to doctor, we don't go, most of us, until otherwise you are a friend or relative. You go to doctor, then doctor asks, what is your problem? Then if you say, oh, you are a doctor, you find out what is the problem in me. If you say that, he will say that, see, look, I am not Babaji or who has got miracle powers or whatever. Until otherwise you tell me, I don't understand. The moment I tell, then you'll be able to understand the nature of problem, you'll be able to diagnose it, and you'll be able to give solution properly. The moment, say for an example, I've got a fever, typhoid, accordingly, medicine has been prescribed. Say for example, I've got a body ache. So body ache can be got by so many things, because of lack of sleep or rest, lack of rest, or because of cold, because of viral infection, or because of hard work, or so many other things, we may get body pain. So body pain is a natural one of the problem, but exactly why this body problem might have come, doctor will be able to diagnose it. Accordingly, he will prescribe the medicines. So similarly, the moment we understand the problem, then we'll be able to get the solution and implement it also. So first probably 4 chapters, it's almost like stating the different problems or stating of affairs. Then in the 5th chapter, he keeps telling, or he gives that how to control the mind has been explained here. He says that now water in the river, it is flowing so wonderful, so nice to see. It is sight to see a river, a flowing river. Just we can enjoy that. But it is not always, it is in the plains. Sometimes it goes down in a valley. And again, sometimes it goes in the mountain areas. It means it has got many ups and downs. And finally, it reaches its destiny called ocean. So similarly, our life is not always straight. It is not plain. It has got so many ups and downs. It has got so many problems, so many adverse circumstances. But our final destination is becoming Brahman or self-realization. That's fine. But if you stop the water at the source itself, say for an example, if you see any river at the source, it will be a very small stream most of the time, or very less water actually. And probably you put it by building a concrete walls or whatever. I mean, for argument's sake, I'm saying, please, we should not do it. So if you build a concrete wall and stop the water, then the source is stopped, then river may get dried up. The author is giving this example. So then you stop the problem at the source itself, then if there is no source at the river source, when you stop the water, then there is no flow, then there is no going ups and downs, and there is no reaching the ocean itself. So means what? You control your mind. The moment you control your mind, you regulate your mind, your desires, your problems, everything can be controlled. Then you will have got a self-mastery. Then you will be realized person. So he is trying to handle the problem at the root level. What is the root level problem? Your mind. Mind is how the mind can be problem because of your thoughts, because of your emotions, because of your feelings. When all these things are taken care, when all these things are properly regulated, then what happens? Then the problem subsides. When there's no problem, then you don't need solution also. So that's why arrest the problem at the root level. So this is the difference between other philosophies and Indian philosophy. In Indian philosophy, always they try to go the problem at the root level, and they will try to nip at the bud. Nip at the bud, we know. So they are trying to arrest the problem at the root level, at the source level. That is the beauty of Indian philosophy, and especially at the Advaita Vedanta. And how to arrest this problem? How to stop the problem at the source level, if you ask? He says that by reducing desires. Because the author also knows that you should be desireless. Then they say, Swami, you are a monk. It's for you, okay, but we have desires. Then they say, okay, then you reduce your desires. Develop dispassion, discrimination, love for self, love for God, love for higher things. Develop all these things, then automatically you'll be able to control your mind. You'll be able to regulate your mind towards the self. Based on your actions, good and bad, karma doctrine, you'll be experiencing the punya and papa, which is called good luck and bad luck, which has got happy and sorrow. So whatever it comes, you take it as Hari Prasada. It is the God's wish or God's will, and don't keep on complaining, rather accept it and keep yourself busy in attaining the higher things. That's a beautifully, someone asked Ramana Maharshi that what should I do for self-realization? So probably the spiritual aspirant was thinking he will give some tidbits or he will give some sadhana, etc., etc. Ramana says, keep quiet. Keep quiet. The spiritual aspirant was startled to it. Listen, what? Sir, did you say that keep quiet? Ramana said, yes, you keep quiet. By keeping quiet, how can I have self-realization? Then Ramana says, you are that self. You need not to acquire any new thing. You need not to achieve anything. You need not to attain new thing. You are already that. That's why be quiet and you'll be able to experience. Sir, but Ramana laughs and says, yes, my dear, I know your problem. Since you are not able to keep quiet, your mind is not quiet, and you are not able to keep quiet, then keep doing good things. So our intention of doing good things is why? Because devil's mind is workshop. empty mind is devil's workshop. Since we can, if you keep quiet, then a lot of unnecessary problems we get it. Unless, we'll have wrong thoughts. Then we should always doing good things. When we keep on doing good things, what happens? Our mind will be filled with always good thoughts, pure thoughts, holy thoughts, and slowly you will have more and more purification of the mind, and you will be a fit person, fit aspirant to realize God, to know the God, or to know the, to experience the self. So what is our intention doing good action? It is very clear. Because we cannot, if you keep quiet, then your mind may be prone to do bad actions, bad thoughts, bad feelings. So you should continuously, consciously keep on practicing good things so that bad things are checked, and you will get more and more purification of the mind. Once mind is purified, then you have got a control over the mind, and it becomes a perfect instrument to reflect the consciousness completely, and you will experience who are you in reality. In the 6th chapter, after said this control of the mind, how is it possible? And he says that until otherwise you have got a dispassion, how much ever you know, all the methods, how you can control the mind, senses, etc., it is not possible. So that's why he, in the 6th chapter, in 8 verses, beautifully, he explains the necessity of vairagya. So vairagya means, don't think that you should leave your home and earth and you should join a monastery and you should take the life of renunciation or monk or nun. We don't mean that. Our Acharya also don't mean that. He only means that try to develop dispassion. Dispassion for the bad things. Dispassion for the lower things. Rather, passion for the highest thing, that is self or God. We are all obsessed with small things, petty things. I want to eat chocolate. I want doll. I want bicycle. Children, when you get to adolescent, I want motorbike. And you got young, then I want a lucrative job. Yes, fine. And I want a safe job. Fine. Then I need a wife. I need a good bank balance. Fine. Then I got children, I got bank balance, and I got money, probably to a certain extent, and I got a house. Then I want to increase again some things. Then afterwards, taking care of children and their marriage, etc., etc. And finally, at the frag end of the life, we understand that all these things doesn't have much value. The value was in God, but we wasted life. Or we may think in some other things. Oh, I thought that is important, this is important. Now I feel none of these are important. So instead of, repenting at the frag end of the life, be discriminative, develop dispassion, then you'll be able to understand how much value you have to give to what, and accordingly you will behave, and accordingly you will work. And beautiful example is given as just try to stay as a guest or as a visitor in this world. There's a beautiful Kannada poem. Devara Manidu Jagavella, Badigedararu Navella. The whole world is creation of the God. God is the owner of the house, the whole world. Then how can I be the owner of particular house? It is, though in the day-to-day affairs, yes, we are, but in reality, we are not. Because of our purva karmas, we have taken birth, and of our karma phala, till prarabdha karma is there, we leave, and afterwards we depart from this body and from this world. So better be as a traveler, be as a visitor. So for an example, there's a beautiful example which I keeps on giving. You and your friend, both of you are walking. You went for a walk. And while walking, you saw a dead body. You don't know who is that. Early morning, you saw someone is carrying the dead body for crematorium. Oh my God, let the soul rest in peace. Om Sadgati. Let the person attain peace, and let me get a good birth, or let him attain the God's feet. According to our faith, we'll pray. Here, there was no reaction, mental reaction. Why? Because we don't know who is he. That's why there was no reaction. After some time, you got a message saying that one of your friend, one of your known person died or passed away. You felt bad. Oh, you're such a good person. You're such a nice person. And you keeps on sharing your experiences or with the moments both of you had with your friend, the friend who is there. Oh, we had a good time. We went with him. We enjoyed. We quarreled. We had this funny moment. And your mind is a bit disturbed. Why? Because he was your friend. He was your known person. It was little disturbed. After some time, again, your mind became, now what to do? Everyone has to die. I have to die. You have to die. Everyone has to die. Okay. After some moment, you receive a message. One of your family member passes away. Immediately, there is a reaction in your mind. You probably starts crying. Tears rolls down. Immediately, you rush. You will rush. You will say, friend, or goodbye. I have to go immediately, and you will rush to the, to the place where the dead body is there to see him. And you are basically mentally, you are so much disturbed. How God can do this? How did this happen? Why did this happen? When did it happen? All these things we keep on inquiring, and we start reacting emotionally. Sometimes emotionally we are disturbed. We keep on crying. Sometimes if it is little middle age or lesser age, if someone has passes away, then we keep on complaining with God, or we may curse and we may abuse the God. How you can do such things and all. See, there are three similar incidents. Death is a common with the three incidents. One with unknown person, one with the known person, the third is our person, my person. But the reactions are entirely different. Why? Because the belongingness is more in the last, and in the first there is no belongingness. Because of I and mine, nanu nannadu, I and mine, all our reactions comes. The moment I don't have these things, then there is no problem at all. So for example, you are in a rented house. Something happens to that house, you don't get much disturbed because you are you are not the owner of the house, you are in rented. If something happens, then if you cannot stay there, you will speak with your owner and you will stay in your house, that's all. But something happens to your house, the house which is your owning, at least for the transactional reality, that is Vyavarika Satya, then immediately you will feel so much bad. Why? Because the sense of I and mine is there. So that is binding us. So because of that only, we are, struck in the samsara, we are struck in this world, we are struck in this birth and death cycle. So be as a visitor. And Sri Ramakrishna gives an example, beautiful example of housemaid. She works, especially in the rich people's house. Sometimes she keeps on, she stays in their house for a long time. She takes care of the entire household, cooking, cleaning, washing, and all. Even if there are small children, she will take care. She give probably bath for that. And when the baby is crying, she may say that, oh, my son, please take care. Please don't cry. You are my Rama, you are my Shiva, you are my Krishna, you are my John, or whatever. But she will be knowing in heart of heart, this is not my house and this is not my people. Since they are paying me, I'm a paid servant here, I'm working. My people are staying in that hut, thatched hut, where my people are there struggling for a peace meal. But still she will be doing it. And something happens in their house, owner's house, someone passes away. He may also cry. If she has got a good relationship with them, she may also cry as if something happened to her house. But once there is a tussle, or once the owner didn't want, or she didn't want to continue, and without much thinking, she leaves with a small, suitcase or a bag, whatever the clothes she has, she takes and she leaves once for all. So like that, okay, you enjoy your life in the world, you try to possess things, whatever you want to achieve in the world, you do it, no doubt, but you should be able to understand that you should take a life of a visitor, a traveler. Then you'll be able to enjoy the world to the larger extent, actually. Oh, Swamiji, you are a monk, you can say all these things. We are all householders, we want that, we want this, we want to do that. Otherwise, life is not possible. Fine. Well, if you want that, have it. Best of luck. We don't say no. But who wants eternal happiness? Who wants eternal bliss? For them, these things are told. Oh, that's okay, but if so, then we say, all the best, continue, whatever you are doing. So still you want to enjoy and suffer and struggle, fine. So we have to be very clear about it. So once you get it, dispassion, your mind becomes calm. Your progress, spiritual progress becomes fast. That's what the author says. What is the necessity of dispassion has been told beautifully in the Vairagya Prakarana. After telling this, he takes a beautiful topic in the next chapter, chapter 7, with the 9 verses, Atma Siddhi Prakaranam, the glory of self-knowledge and the necessity of Guru is explained in this beautiful chapter. Why should I get Vairagya? Why should I get a dispassion? Why should I develop a dispassion? It is not for dispassion's sake. It is for Atmajnana's sake. It is for self-knowledge. To get self-knowledge, to know who I am in reality, or to experience who I am in reality, I need dispassion. So dispassion is not the end in itself. Dispassion is the means to attain self-realization, so to have self-knowledge or to get into that spiritual path. So that we have to understand. Many times we see, many people are not interested much in worldly pleasures, worldly pursuits, but they may not be spiritual in nature. So many times we get mistake. Oh, you see, such a spiritual person. He's not attached to the world. He's not interested in worldly pleasures. Yes, wonderful. It's a wonderful quality, no doubt. His mind can be mostly, calm, quiet, serene. He's blessed, no doubt. Oozing out of energy, wasting of energy and through emotions and through feelings and through desires may be checked in his case, no doubt. But until otherwise, he has got desire for self-realization, then it is not of much use, isn't it? Simply, there is some water body, it is of no use. Then it should be of some use for some people. That's what I mean. It is all comparative. In that sense, we are telling that. So here, by having mere dispassion is not enough. One should have a dispassion, and at the same time, you should have intense desire, intense thinking, intense passion towards self-realization or God realization. And why should we have self-realization or self-knowledge? That's the only way to arrest all your problems and to enjoy. Enjoy means experience the bliss. So what happens when you study Vedanta? They say, Atyantika dukkha nivrutti, paramananda prapti. Dukkha nivrutti, removal of unhappiness or sorrow. For a moment, when you are feeling so bad, when you are emotionally disturbed, you get some solace from either from your relatives, from some teacher, from guru, or from reading a book or whatever. That may be momentary, or for that day, or for a few hours, for a few moments, or few weeks, for a few months. Again, the problem will come. So there it is limited in time. So here, dukkha nivrutti is atyantika, complete cessation of suffering, complete cessation of sorrow. Not only that, paramananda prapti, atyantika dukkha nivrutti, complete cessation of sorrow or suffering, and paramananda prapti, attaining the supreme joy, attaining the supreme bliss. That is what the aim of Vedanta. So here, by Vairagya, Dukkha Nivrutti happens to a certain extent, then Paramananda Prapti is possible only when you get Atma Gnana, when you get Brahma Gnana. So he starts this prakarana, particular chapter so beautifully. He gives an example of Jataka Pakshi, cocoon, a paid cocoon, they say in English, I think. Though it is in the midst of sea or river, it never drinks that water, either the water of the river or the ocean. Instead, it is waiting for the rains, it seems. So when the rain comes, it opens its beak and it consumes. And that's how he consumes the water. He doesn't drink the water from the river or from the ocean. So similarly, a person has got a lot of information. He might have got a lot of, we are all overloaded with information today in the net. YouTube you see, or in the Google you see, all of Vedantic text, Vedantic talks from learned people. So much is available. You may be hearing also. Sometimes I keep on hearing, Swamiji, today I'm hearing such Swami class, tomorrow I'm hearing such Swami class. And they are hearing so much Vedanta than us. In fact, sometimes I see. That's all fine, no doubt. But if that has to materialize properly, that has to be used properly and have a progress, you need a guru. Just like Jataka Pakshi, that cocoon bird is in the midst of sea, in the midst of river. There's a lot of water, but it is of not much use because it takes only the rainwater. It is waiting for rain. So similarly, you may be having a lot of information, no doubt, but the information, how to be used, where to use, why to use, when to use, to know it, you need a guru. That's why you need a guru, and you have to take you have to surrender at the guru, and you have to listen to the guru's instructions, and you have to put into practice. Sorry. You have to put into practice. Scriptures are like road maps, guide maps, that's all. But how to use, what to do and what not to do, it is very important. For example, you are having a guide map, and using the guide map, you are going it. Sometimes the GPS, GPS is a map for all of us. We all keep GPS. Sometimes I was going in, I think, Haveri or Ranebennur, using the GPS. It took nicely in the midst of the big field and it left us. Well, someone has staggered the address wrongly. As a result, the GPS took us and left us in the middle of the field, huge field. Then again, we have to phone them and we have to ask the directions and we have to take it back, and we went to the final destination. So similarly, these roadmaps are there. Using the roadmaps, we can travel to certain extent, but all the time may not be. There may be some problems. The road is good, but it is infected with animals. A person who has already traveled in that road, then he will tell, no, the road is good, no doubt. It has got national highway, no doubt. But in the night, if you go there, a lot of animals, you may encounter the animals and your life is in danger. The other route, which is narrow, the road is not much good, but still it is safe. So better you go in that road. The person who has already traveled, who has advanced in the spiritual path, so they will be knowing all these problems, ups and downs, pitfalls, all these things. They will be able to guide us properly. They will be able to, induce that spirit or induce that, what you say, emotions or inspiration. That's why we need Guru, and has been discussed. And the author gives that Atma Gnana can be known, can be it can be, we can obtain or attain by taking the help of three things. One is scriptures, the other is from Guru's teachings, and the third is self-experience. We need all the three. Why? Shruti, Yukti, and also Anubhava. Shruti, scriptures. We need to hear scriptures. Scripture statements are ultimate for us. We have to listen to the Upanishads or Vedas, whatever the scripture. They are the experiences of the greatest people, wisest people, unselfish people. We have to understand, hear, and try understand. Then we'll be able to understand what is the truth and what is not. Then the gurus, they have experienced with logic, with a rationality, they'll be able to tell. So we need logic also, isn't it? And of course, logics are provided in scriptures also. And experience. The moment I experience who I am, then I'll be able to, the moment, say for an example, somehow I experience that there's a God because I had a problem. I thought I will be sinking in my life, I will die, but somehow there is an unseen force came, unseen help came, and I was able to cross over that problem. I was able to get away the problem. So God is there doesn't mean that always we have to see them physically. So there are so many instances where God, so that I am here, my dear, don't bother. Only we should have enough mind, open mind, enough maturity with open eyes we should have. If you are there, then you'll be able to see the existence of God in so many ways. Because when you get spiritual maturity, you'll be able to understand. The moment you experience that there is a God, that's how I was protected today from the great danger, then your devotion, faith to God, it increases. Self-experience is the best thing, isn't it? All the greatest people, they suffered a lot, struggled a lot, but still they were able to go ahead and they were able to live peaceful life. Why? Because of their experience of the highest, experience of the higher truths or highest truth. So from these things, one can have self-knowledge. By having self-knowledge, we get eternal bliss and all our problems ceases to exist. That's why we should strive for self-realization, to attain the self-knowledge. Then after speaking of Atma Gnana Siddhi, then he speaks of Maya, which is one of the interesting topic or one of the difficult topic in Advaita Vedanta. Of course, on the lighter side, I'm saying, according to me, you can easily understand Brahman, but you cannot easily understand Maya. Advaita Siddhi, where whatever the problems or whatever the attacks were told by qualified Manoists, Vishishtadvaitins, and Dvaitins, dualists, and for that Madhusudana Saraswati has given a very logical treatise in Advaita Siddhi. This Mayavad and so many other things has been discussed in detail. You can understand what is self, what is Atman, what is Brahman easily, but what is Maya? It is very difficult to understand. Why? Yamasa Maya. The definition of Maya is Yamasa Maya. What is there? Because of the power of Maya, what is there, we think that. We misunderstand it. We misunderstand it as it is not there. And what is not there, by that power, we misunderstand, we mistake it as there. Just like we are mistaking the Brahman as the world. We are mistaking the consciousness for the matter, isn't it? That is the one of the things in Adhyasa Bhashya and in whole of Advaita Vedanta, author keeps on telling, Shankaracharya and other authors keeps on telling, we are mistaking the Brahman as the world. So remove that ignorance, remove that illusion, remove that adhyaropa, remove that adhyasa, prejudice, wrong cognition, wrong notion, wrong perception. They keep on telling. So for that, Maya is the reason. The concept of Maya is also very interesting. And why do we need this Maya, if you ask me, in a straight way, if you want me to tell, you tell because however we hear about this self, and we should try to know it, we should try to realize, and we say that that's okay, but there's an empirical world, which we are able to see and which we are able to experience. How did it came? Who did it? Created it? How it got created? And all these type of questions, it keeps on coming in our mind. So to suffice or to quench our interest, intellectual hunger or intellectual interest, every author tries to tell the source or the reason how this world came into existence and what is the nature of this empirical world or universe. So, and also how we came into existence. If essentially I and Brahman are one and the same, then how did I came into existence and why all these problems? Who created this? Why they created? Such type of questions we do get, and earlier also Rishis also have got. For that, Taittiriya Upanishad says, Sokamayata bahusyam prajayayeti. Brahman thought, it seems, let me become many. Brahman thought, Sokamayata, Brahman desired, Brahman thought, bahusyam prajayayeti, let me become many. Since it thought, so we became many. So many human beings, animals, birds, beasts, insects, worms, all these things. So many individual beings have become, isn't it? That is what one of the explanation given by Upanishads. Because Brahman thought, so many became. So Brahman with the help of Maya, he created this world, or he is appearing as the world. He created the world is not the right thing. He is appearing as the world with this power of Maya. And the same Maya slowly in the Tantras or in the qualified monoism, Vishishtadvaita and in Dvaita dualism, dualistic philosophy, it has taken the form of mother goddesses, Shakti. The Maya has taken the form of Shakti, and either you say Sri Lakshmi, or you say Saraswati, or you say Durga, or you say any goddesses. So it has taken the form of power. The power has taken the form of goddesses. But whereas in Vedanta, they say Maya is the power of the Brahman. How to understand? There is a fire, and there has got a burning power in the fire. Agni and Daika Shakti. Fire and the burning power. If the fire is Brahman, the burning power of the fire is nothing but Maya. That's what the examples they give. It is seen in Tantra also. And very interestingly, the author, though it is Advaita Vedantic text, the author also gives an example, gives a description of Brahman and Maya as husband and wife. If husband is Brahman, wife is Maya, because of the both, the samsara is going on. So that is the very interesting thing, very interesting description which is in this book. Probably this type of explanation we don't come across in all the Advaitic texts. When Parabrahman, the Supreme Self, because it thought, so we became many, and so many individual egos are there. It is appearing. The moment we understand our real nature, then again we get merged in that, just like rivers, though it has started from different streams, finally it goes and merges, ends in the ocean. Similarly, all of so-called individual existence ceases to exist, and we emerge in Brahman. And one is appearing as many. One is being seen as many. Why? Because of Maya, because of the power of Maya. Just like magician, When he keeps one, probably a kerchief or a cloth or just a thing, an object, uses the object and he creates sweets, he creates flowers, he creates so many things, isn't it? Like the magician. So similarly, the God is a wonderful magician, Ishvara, the Lord. By using the power of his own power, that is Maya, he's created this multi-universe or multi-beings. So it is appearing as that, but in reality, there's only one thing, not two. And they don't say that actually, strictly speaking, there's only one thing. They say there are no two things. But if you have to say only one thing, there should be comparison with relation with two or three. So they say Advaita means not two. Means there are no two things means what? Oh, there can be three, there can be four. No. Here when we say there are no two things, means there is only one thing, that is Brahman, that is Atman, or self, or consciousness, or whatever. So, and also they explain that Brahman is appearing as many, and I am also, essentially, there is no difference between me, the Atman, and Brahman, individual self and the Supreme Self. Now, how to understand that? If the devotee asks, they may say it is a blasphemy to say this. How can I say that I and God are both one and the same? It is a blasphemy. The Advaita Vedanta says that essentially we are one and the same. How to understand? Say, for example, there is a water body. There are so many water bodies. For example, water in a small pond, water in the big lake, water in the pond, water in the big lake. Is there any difference? Yes, there is a difference. Say, for an example, pond has got 1,000 liters. In the lake, thousands of liters has got. Fine. So there is a quantity difference. There's a difference in quantity. Yes. Is anything else? It has got water and that has got water. This is H2O and that's it is H2O. So from the content portion, there is no difference. Of course, because of geography and the land and all, the water can be a bit salty, a bit tasty, a bit different color. That is all we are not bothered. Actually, when we take the water as a water, from the content portion, the water in the pond and the water in the lake, both are one and the same. Qualitatively, there is no difference. From the content portion, there is no difference. But water in the pond is small water body. Water in the lake is the huge body. There's a difference between quantity, but not in the quality. So similarly, what is Brahman? It is existence, consciousness, bliss absolute, Sat, Chit, Ananda. And what is Atman, this individual self? It is also in the nature, it is Sat, Chit, Ananda. So both are one and the same, essentially. That has been discussed. Only because with the Maya, we are appearing as different, but essentially we are one and the same. Fine, you have said all these things. What is the nature of Maya? You tell me then. If you say that, they say that it is anirvachaniya. It cannot be explained. That's why it is very difficult. Probably post-Shankarites had to face a lot of criticisms on this Maya. Non-dualists, qualified monoids or dualists, and so many other philosophies, philosophical schools, they attacked on Advaita, not on Brahman, because of this Maya concept. How can you say that anirvachaniya and it exists? And you say that it exists, you cannot say that it is Sadrupa. Okay, you are saying that you cannot say that it exists. Then you accept it. It doesn't exist. You say that no, Asadrupa. You cannot accept Asadrupa also. You cannot say that it doesn't exist also. Then what it is inexplicable. It is unexplainable. It is anirvachaniya. And this how anirvachaniya, it is beautifully explained in Brahma Sutras, Adhyasa Bhashya, Introductory Brahma Sutras by Adi Shankaracharya. It is one of the masterpieces. If whoever is interested, you can go through this Adhyasa Bhashya Brahma Sutra. You'll be able to understand why Maya is anirvachaniya, has been explained there beautifully. And here also, the author tries to tell Maya is not Sadrupa, Maya is not Asadrupa, and also sometimes it is not Sadasadrupa. Existence, non-existence, not also that. Then it is anirvachaniya and it is Trigunatmika. It is taken from the Sankhyan idea. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, these three qualities, whatever. So this Maya has got these three qualities. Because of that, the whole world has been appeared. And here the author also tells that Maya's locus is Brahman and Avidya's locus is Jiva. This is one of the philosophical idea, and based on that, in post-Shankara, there are 3-4 different schools of Advaita Vedanta itself. not of other philosophies. In Advaita Vedanta, like Bhamati school, Vivarna school, Vartika school, there are three main streams of Advaita Vedanta. There are some subtle differences between them, otherwise not much. So all these three different streams of Advaita Vedanta came, which is one of the most important point for their three schools difference of opinion is, what is the locus of Maya or Avidya? For some, Maya's locus is Brahman and Avidya's locus is Jiva. For some, no. For everything is Brahman only. For some, they said Jiva and etc. There are subtle differences, philosophical differences between them. So this is one of the important point on which the different streams of Advaita Vedanta has come. And author also gives an example of Ghatakasha and Mahakasha. Ghatakasha is the space which is in the pot. Mahakasha is the space in the universe. Now, the space in the universe and the space in the pot is both are one and the same. Yes, but it appears a different way. The covering called pot is making us to think that the space in the pot appears different from the space existing outside. The moment you break the pot, what happens? It gets merged. Does it get merged? No. Only this a small line was there, which is called pot, is making to think both are different. But in reality, it was not so. So similarly, there was a field. Then we built 4 houses. Then the space was divided into 4 houses. Then space is also divided. For our transactional analysis, yes. For our Vyavaharika Satya, for our day-to-day business, yes. Otherwise, you may come. How can you say, Swamiji? Because I own this property and someone else owns that property. Isn't it? For transactional truth analysis and truth, it is true, but in reality, there's only one space. It is appearing as divided into so many segments, so many sectors, but in reality, there's only one space. So similarly, the Brahman is appearing as many. Why? Because with the help of Maya. How? Ghatakasha and Mahakasha. So that is what the difference between Jiva and Brahman also. Though both are essentially one and the same, because of Maya, just we are thinking that Ghatakasha and Mahakasha are different. I and God, I and Brahman are the individual self and supreme self. Both are different. We are thinking. That is the power of Maya. And so then the very rational question he raises, the author raises, he ends that chapter. If Maya is the power of Brahman, then how it can affect the Brahman or consciousness? Why? Because of that only the Brahman is appearing as many. So for an example, there is a poison in the snake. Of course, not all snakes, whichever the, like for example, cobra. Cobra snake has got a poison. When it injects in us, we die. But though it is eating and it is consuming its food, though the poison is there, the poison might have gone inside the body, it might. If so, even if it goes, it doesn't affect its body. Isn't it? So similarly, if Maya is the power of Brahman, then why it is making it to see so many things, and how can the Maya can affect the Brahman itself? Or is it affecting the Brahman itself? That is the rational question raised by the author in that particular chapter. They say that no. By sun rays, the water is evaporated and it forms the cloud, and sometimes it covers the sun itself. So similarly, though this Maya is the power of Brahman, no doubt, but this power of Brahman, Maya, is covering the Brahman itself. That's why it is appearing as one. So it is not harming the Brahman, it is only covering the Brahman. So it is appearing as the world. So basically, how this world came into existence. We have to give a logical explanation how this universe is existing and how it came and how we are so many beings. If you say that the consciousness or the self or the individual self or the supreme self, whatever you say, Brahman or Atman or whatever, consciousness, it is only one if you say, then we are so many crores of people and so many types of animals, so many types of birds, beasts, worms. Then how do you account for it? Then Sokamayata Bhosyam Prajayate. Brahman, with the help of Maya, it is appearing as many. That is the logical explanation can be given or is given. So our idea is not, our interest should not be in these things. Yes, when we have got some intellectual hunger, intellectual inquisitiveness, we can read all these things, we can understand. Our idea, not the Advaitins' main thrust is given is to understand Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi. I am Brahman or you are that Brahman. To understand that, to experience that, that is the main goal main idea, main aim, main interest is given from Advaita Vedanta. We should not miss it. Otherwise, sometimes, oh, you say that Brahman has appeared as money with the Maya and the Panchikarana, all these things, how is it, whether scientific, rational, psychological? We keep on discussing, and sometimes we get lost. So the Advaitins' idea is never proving the world exists or not, whether world existing in what form, all these things, no. Just to quench our intellectual hunger, they have given all these things. Their main idea is to make us understand that you are the self and try to realize, try to understand and experience. That is the main goal of the Advaita Vedanta, that we should understand and we should not miss the track. Then, after discussing, very interestingly, the author takes the Linga Dehadi Nirupanam. Physical body has been described, then sense pleasures has been condemned. Condemned in the sense, don't get stuck there. Then mind, the nature of mind has been explained. How to control the mind is over. How to develop dispassion over. What is the glory of self-knowledge over. What is the Maya is over. Now the author is telling, taken the next idea to be discussed is what is the Linga Deha, that is subtle body, and what is the causal body, Karana Deha or Karana Sharira, has been taken in the 9th chapter in 14 verses. He explains. So there's a dichotomy and trichotomy philosophy. In overall, if you see, Indian philosophy has got any school of philosophy, maybe they accept, except Charvakas, they accept trichotomy theory. Means soul, mind, or subtle body, soul or self, mind, and gross body. Whereas in the Western philosophy, it is a dichotomy theory. Di means two, tri means three. Dichotomy theory, two things. One is body, the other is mind. Mind and soul, more or less, it is same for them. It is highly confusing for them. So they don't accept the self properly, clearly, like we accept. So that's why sometimes the Atman or Brahman, especially Atman, they use the word soul. We should not use it. Why? Because for them, soul means it is mind actually, in reality. If you use the word Atman is better, or at the most, we can use the word self, but not the soul. So let the soul rest in peace. We keep on saying that. For them, it is always mind actually. And what is the nature of Sthula Sharira has been discussed in the first chapter itself. Now he's trying to discuss the other two Shariras, other two Dehas, that is Sukshma Deha, subtle body. He gives narration that it consists 5 Tanmatras, subtle elements from which the 5 Rasa elements came, Tattva Bodha, Aprokshanabhuti, and if you read, it has been discussed in detail. And I have taken my classes also on this on our center website, YouTube. All these things are also available. Whoever is interested, you can listen. 5 Tanmatras, Pancha Pranas, 5 Pranas, and 5 Jnanendriyas. And 1 Antakarana he gives in this particular. So 16 components constitute the subtle body. And in Aprokshanabhuti or Tattvabodha, it goes for 17. Manas and Buddhi they give. And in the Vedanta Sara and in other texts, including Tattvabodha, they give 19. Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankara. The mind, based on the function, it has been divided into 4 parts. The 4 parts constitutes Antakarana. So it becomes 19 in Tattvabodha and Vedanta Sara, 17 in Aprokshanabhuti. And here they are saying 16. All these 4 parts put together Antakarana. So they have taken Antakarana as a one entity or one component, one item. So that's why he says that the author in this particular work, particular book, that 16 parts or 16 components constitute the subtle body, which travels from one body to another. Many people ask question, Swamiji, how Atma can travel, or how Atma travels from one body to another? I say that who said that Atma travels from one body to another? Yes, Swamiji, when a person is died, Atma has left that body, and when it reaches the mother's feet, embryo, and afterwards, the baby is born. Isn't it, Swamiji? So when it enters the new body. So many people have got confusion. I always say, please remember, Atma never travels from one body to another. Okay? That means in dead bodies also Atman is there. I say, yes, it is there. We should know very clearly, Atman is there in the dead body also. Oh, then why is it dead? Because there is no reflecting medium called Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira. reflecting medium called Sukshma, subtle body, and Karna Sharira, that is Karna, Deha or Karna Sharira. Causal body is not there. That's why the physical body is not aware of its consciousness, aware of the consciousness. So Atma never travels from one body to another. When I die, when I say that I die, or when a person dies, Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, and Karna Sharira, they leave and it travels and it enters the new body. So we have to understand. That's why Prana Hoitu we say in Kannada. Though it is such a natural talk and very illiterate a villager speaks, but it has got a lot of philosophical significance. This prana is what? The part of subtle body. So subtle body left the physical body, grass body, and Atman never left. So we have to understand very clearly. Then what about the causal body? Causal body, he says, very interesting thing. One is he says that it is of avidya. It is made of ignorance. So there is a thin layer, for an example. Now, for an example, there is a light and I keep here, then what happens? You are not able to see my face properly. Why? Because you are able to see little, because little light is coming, but not like earlier. Why? This light is covered with my hand. Means there is an obstructing layer. So similarly, the self is obstructed by a thin layer of ignorance. That's why I'm unable to understand who I am. That is what Karna Sharira. And in Vedantic way, it is told in Avarna and Vikshepa Shakti. Avarna is covering, Vikshepa is, it has been projected by something else. So the self is covered and the self has been projected as this world or individual self. So that is happened from the Karna Sharira, causal body. And this nature of the causal body has been given by this particular book, very interestingly, Angushta Matra Purusho. When Upanishad says Angushta Matra, just like the nature of the Jivatma, individual soul, is this Angushta, like a thumb. So the Karna Sharira is like a thumb. That's what the author says. And also at the end of this chapter, how perception happens later. Vedantic perception is like when I am seeing a mobile, for an example, the light, the light of the conscious, the conscious goes through this form, through this eye, and it takes the form of the sense object. The eye takes the form of sense object, and this conscious goes and it lights it. That's how I understand that it is a mobile, it is a water, it is a fire, it is a, it can go through, we can perceive through any five sense organs, but whenever any organ is perceiving any object particularly, then the self is going through that particular organ and it is taking the form of that particular organ, particular object, and it is trying to light it, and that's how we understand what is that. So basically the self is the knower according to the Advaita Vedanta. That perception is beautifully explained in a nutshell in one shloka. This idea, this perception, Vedantic perception, is explained in Vedanta Sara in nicely. Who is interested, they can try to understand or read or study. In the chapter 10, it is Advaita Prakarana. It is the chapter on Advaita, the non-dualism. So after discussing the self and the Maya and these two bodies, he takes what is non-dualism? Because people have got confusion. People have got misconceptions, or people may misrepresent also what is Advaita. So you should also know what is Advaita actually. Now, what is non-dualism? So I am trying to tell. So he tells that what is Advaita? Why Advaita is there? Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. When one knows what is Brahman, he becomes Brahman. See, this is the difference between Atma Gnana and other Padartha Gnana. I am aware of mobile. So for an example, there's a mobile and I know that in and out of this mobile, I don't become mobile. I'm using the motorbike, kinetic Honda, say for example. I know each and part of kinetic Honda, I never become kinetic Honda. I know the entire, what the planet Earth is, our solar system. I know each bit of solar system. Fine, you are a wise person, you are a, brainy fellow, you are genius, you are a one probably rarest person, but you will never become solar system. But in the Atma Gnana, the moment you know what is Brahman, and you will become that. That is the difference between other Gnanas, Padartha Gnana, the knowledge of any other objects in the world, and the knowledge of the self, or Atma Gnana or Brahma Gnana. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The moment you understand who are you, you become that. The experiencer becomes the experienced, and the experience are the knowledge. I experience wonderful water. Maybe in Kodaikanal, you go and you enjoy the water, or you go to Wakanakal Falls, or you go to Joke Falls and you experience the wonderful water there. You experience, but you the water is still there are two different things are there. Two dualities are there. I mean, duality exists. But the moment you understand who are you, then you become that, and there is no duality exists, and it is non-dual, because there is no one to tell, I am there. That is the beauty of Advaita Vedanta that has been told in this Advaita Prakarana. And still you may say that if so, then why there are so many individual jivas? Then the author gives an example. For example, how many suns are there? 100 suns are there. How do you say that? Because I am seeing 100 suns in 100 buckets of water. I've kept 100 buckets of water. The reflection of the sun is seen in the 100 buckets. So I am saying that, or a child is saying that there are 100 suns. Then the grown-up person say, my dear, there are no 100 suns. Only one sun is there. One Surya is there. But it is reflected in the 100 buckets of water. That's why it is appearing for you. There are 100 Suryas. Sorry. In reality, there is no 100 Suryas. There is only one Surya. So similarly, there is only one self, one Atman, one conscious, one Brahman. Just like one sun is appearing in so many reflecting mediums. So similarly, each body, either a bird or animal or a human being, there are so many bodies. So the sun is, just like sun is reflected in different bodies, the self is also reflected. Supreme Self is also reflected in so many bodies. That's why we feel that there are so many selves, individual selves. But actually, it is not so. And you should know that the Supreme Self is acting behind everything. The substratum for everything is the Supreme Brahman or the consciousness. How to understand that? How can you say that the Supreme Brahman is behind everything? He gives an example, the author. For example, Togologombe Ata, in the olden days it used to happen. One fellow using some cartoon made from wood or made from cardboards and all, and it is colored, and sometimes even some clothes also wrapped, and using the threads or ropes, one person will be making to do all enacting dramas, Mahabharata Yuddha, Ramayana, or whatnot. One person using so many dolls at a time, because he was so much used to it, and so many times, two people fighting, 3 people talking each other, and he will be making an action. So 5-6 people may be there. That's why 5-6 dolls are moving and they're talking, shaking, we feel. But no, only one person sitting above, holding the ropes of all these dolls, is making to move them and speaking or whatever. So similarly, just like one person, he may enact so many roles. So similarly, Brahman is enacting through so many individual beings. So basically the whole universe and the selves, everyone has emerged out from the Brahman. Try to understand the source. Then what happens? You will become blissful and you will reach the final goal or destination. And by knowing what happens, why should I know? If you ask, you will become immortal. We all want happiness. Someone gets by chocolate, someone eats by eating masala dosa, someone gets that happiness by riding a motorbike with a good speed, someone gets a four-wheeler, they are happy, someone gets golden ornaments, they are happy, someone gets achievements, some prizes, they are happy, someone are happy just sleeping. So we get little happiness from these things and all. But the highest happiness, eternal bliss, the complete happiness is possible when you understand who are you in reality. That's why one has to struggle, one has to strive for self-realization. That has been told in the chapter 10. Then what is binding us? The binding component is kartrutva and bhoktrutva according to the Advaita Vedanta. One is mula, karana is ajnana, avidya. The avidya has been manifest in different ways. One is kartrutva and bhoktrutva. Doership and enjoyership. I have done this, I have done that, I did this. They didn't felicitate me. They didn't recognize my work. They didn't recognize my services. And we suffer, we struggle, and we show that who I will show. So I will create one more organization and I will show who am I. All this we keep on saying because of our petty ego. So the base is what? Because the sense of doership and the sense of enjoyership. Here, bhoktrutva is not the enjoyer actually. I mean, though we translated, it is experience. Because enjoyer means it is not only joy, even sometimes we may have to experience sorrow also. So bhoktrutva is enjoyership. So how this enjoyership and this doership, which has got the notions, both these notions in us, how it is binding us, we have to understand. He gives a beautiful example. The moment sun rises, all our activities starts, most of the activities. And sun sets, we all, of course, in today's scenario, things have changed, but at least in the olden days, when sun rises, all their activities they used to start, and when sun sets, except sleeping, most of the activities used to be halt, isn't it? But still, sun never says that because of me, all activities are happening. Because because of my absence, all activities came into halt. The sun never says. The sun never ascribes. The sun never takes an advantage, or he says that because of me, all these things are happening, isn't it? So similarly, because in the presence of self, everything happens, but the self doesn't mistake that, should not mistake that it is because of me all these things are happening. Because all the activities belongs to body and mind. Mind, intellect, ego, or whatever, it is not with self. Self is neither the doer nor the enjoyer, is only witness, is only sakshi. And this has been explained beautifully also in Vedanta and also in the Sankhya. Why? All suffering, all dualities, all experiences, all joy, sorrow, or good, bad, right, wrong, all type of dualities and experiences of these dualities are belong to Prakriti according to Sankhya. Purusha is neither Karta nor Bhokta. So similarly, here also they say that Purusha is only Sannidhi Matra. The presence is there only, but neither is the doer nor is the enjoyer. Everything is done by Maya here. There they say it is Prakriti, here they say it is Maya. Because of Maya, everything is happening because of not the self. So self is neither the doer nor the enjoyer. The moment you understand what happens, you will be happiest person. Then you will start let going things. And you will understand, according to me, when you understand Advaita Vedanta properly, what happens? You will travel from what to so what. What? It happened. What? He did die. What? There was a calamity. We keep on reacting like this, isn't it? There's no wonder in that, no doubt. There's no mistake or wrong in that, but we keep on reacting. The moment when you have got Advaitic knowledge in deep, it is engraved in us strongly. Is it? So what? Someone has died. So what? Everyone has to die. It is not that we are not, bothered, we have not become insensitive to things, and we have become like a rock-like, we have become hard stone in our heart. No. We don't get reacted. We don't get perturbed. So when you study Advaita Vedanta, and if you put into practice this Advaita Vedanta, you travel from what to so what. So this is what happens in our life. That's why they say that the moment you relinquish this enjoyership and the doership, you will be safe. So better you don't get tainted, don't get perturbed by this doership and the enjoyership. Why? Naham karta, naham bhokta. Neither I am the doer, nor I am the enjoyer. Both belongs to body and mind. I am neither the body nor the mind. So neither I am the doer nor the enjoyer. My state is bliss, bliss, bliss. So the self does not cry if someone dies, and nor rejoice because someone is leaving or someone is born. Only body and mind rejoices and body and mind reacts, but the self never reacts. So after this, some more 7 chapters are there. Let us try to understand and discuss by God's grace tomorrow. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Hari Om, Swamiji. Thank you so much.
Yes, Hari Om, Hari.
Could we take some questions, Swamiji?
Yeah, I'll be happy to answer if any questions are there.
Sure. So, dear viewers, I would request all of you to please post your questions in the Q&A box, and I shall relay them to Swamiji. Swamiji, something interesting that you mentioned about Kushi, Maja, and Ananda. Could you add a little more on that?
One is Maja, the other is Sukha, the other is Ananda. Maja is instant gratification. For example, I gave you example, especially adolescent in Indian mindset. Of course, I see even in the Europe also, many this vehicle doing all the nonsense things they will be doing. Even in the Europe also they do use that different type of silencers, create a lot of noise pollution, and using in the only one single wheel doing all these things. Why? Because it gives a kick. Maja, yen maja ittu gotta, yen kick ittu gotta. We keep on saying this type of word we use, kick. So instant, okay. For example, I'm going in a 120 kilometer speed in the bike. Oh, what a thrilling speed. What a thrilling experience it was. And many people, they would like to have the thrilling experience, and they would like to take selfies at wrong places, in danger places, and they end their life. Isn't it? Most of the time it is happening today. So that's an instant sense gratification. Maybe it is very momentary, just a moment or just few seconds, even fraction of second or few seconds, but we are obsessed with that. And it doesn't take much, it is not progressive, and it doesn't take as much to the extent possible or development, I mean to say. Then Sukha is a bit progressive and constructive. Say for an example, you became an engineer, or you got a gold medal in your graduation, or you got first prize in the quiz competition. Basically, you did some achievements. So then that happiness stays back, and it is more productive, more constructive, and that happiness stays back for some time. You are engineer, you enjoyed, you got your degree certificate, you enjoyed, you took a photo, you put a selfie in the WhatsApp, Facebook, all Twitter, everywhere, your friends and all. Fine. After 2-3 days, 1 week, you can enjoy that you have become engineer. But afterwards, oh fine, I became engineer. Now what next? Should I go for higher studies, or then I should get a job, safe job, secular job? My friend got in Infosys, other friend got TCS. Then if I go in a lesser company, then what happens? My social status. I was always thinking that I'm a better student than my friend. He has got in the, TCS in the Infosys. But then if I get to other company, then this type of things we do get, and our happiness gets stopped there. Then instead of enjoying the engineer degree, I keeps on boggling, then what should I do? Because of engineering, now I should search for a job. So it is limited and more constructive and more progressive. Then Ananda is the highest Ananda. Highest Ananda is, like, for example, I understand who am I, either God realization, self-realization, or I live the life of dedication, and I help the humankind. I dedicate my life to the service of the humanity. And I try to serve hundreds of people, or tens of people, or whatever according to my capacity. I'm able to serve so many people, and I'm able to wipe the tears of so many individuals. That is more contented, more progressive, more constructive, isn't it? So we should always try to, aspire for Ananda, not for Maja and not for Sukha. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Yes. Swamiji, one question from one of the seekers is, how can I be more near to God? How to remember God while working?
Yeah, there's a beautiful example, or sadhana is idea has been given, spiritual practice by Swami Brahmananji, who is the direct apostle of Sri Ramakrishna, monastic apostle of Sri Ramakrishna. And he was great. He was known for his greatest spiritual practices, and he was known as Brahmagnani. He says that any work you start, before starting a work, you try to remember God. And once the work is done, religiously you say that, okay, whatever is possible, I have done it. So Krishna Arpanamastu, like that you say that, okay, whatever I have done it. So please accept the fruits. You start with this first and end at any cost you should do any secular action. Maybe you should first think about God before starting, and you end the work with the remembrance of God. So when you keep on doing, and in middle of the work, whenever you are able to remember the God, You keep on remember the God, maybe remember his name, or maybe just you can murmur yourself with the hymns, or you can remember his wonderful leela or wonderful thoughts or whatnot. When you keep on doing this, so automatically God-centered life keeps on increasing. And especially as soon as you get up, we should also start our life not by seeing mobile, Facebook, or whatever. Of course, we can keep alarms, that's different. But we should start with a God-centered life or self-centered life. Self-centered life means conscious-centered life, I mean to say. Okay, I am Brahman. I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not the feelings. I am not the desires. I am not the emotions. I am that Satchitananda. So with strong thinking, giving the strong thinking, we should start our life. Or I'm a servant of God. I'm a child of God. And that's how, see, Karagre Vasate Lakshmi, that stotra was started by, it was given in the olden days. As soon as you get up, you should start that Karagre Vasate Lakshmi, Samudra Vasani Devi. Means start your life with the God. So either if you are emotional centered person, your emotions are strong, feelings and path of devotion, if you are taking it as the main aspect of sadhana, then you start like you are a child of God, you are a son of God, you are a daughter of God, you are a part of God, and you can think and you can do some stotras even before getting up from the bed. I mean, just as you sit and you do something 2, 3, 5 minutes, and you can continue your work. If you do more, you may again sleep also, that you have to be careful. Or if you a little more intellectual and if you would like to go in a path of knowledge and Advaita Vedanta, then you can start your life thinking that you are Atman and Brahman. When I say this, or when many of you hear it, it feels probably, I don't think by that, how can we have it? But I have made an experiment. When you get up, whatever the strong thought you give to your mind, that will have a lot of effect on your whole day life. Sometimes may not be, no doubt, I don't say no, but many of the time it is there. And also night while going to sleep, we keep on seeing so many things, we keep on thinking so many unnecessary things and we go to bed. That should be avoided, and we should go also to bed with the good thoughts. Maybe read a good book, hear some good bhajans, or have some good prayers, have some good thoughts, self-thinking, yourself, I'm conscious, bliss, etc., etc. And you have to go to sleep. So in that semi-conscious, whatever is possible, these things happen. So by doing this more and more, you'll be able to have a God-centered life, living in the relative world or in your domestic life and also in the professional life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Swamiji. Does Atma remain back in the body once the life is dead? Or what happens when the dead body is burnt to the Atma?
See, when you say Atman or the self is omniscient and omnipresent and omnipotent, when you say omnipresent, that means it exists everywhere. So how can you say that it doesn't exist in the dead body? That means Atman exists everywhere minus dead bodies. That cannot happen. It is illogical actually. So Atman exists in dead body also. Then what happens when the body is burnt? What happens when the body is burnt? Body is reduced into ashes, that's all. This problem comes for us, why our mind objectifies everything. The mind is always at the level of name and form. You see a form, how can you recognize a thing? Because every object has got some form. Even you see amoeba, though it doesn't have shape, but we try to give some shape. So cell, what has got? It has got hexagonal, a nucleus, or atomic structure, and all we keep on giving us shape, some form. So without form and without a name, mind cannot think. And it is nothing but objectifying things. So when we say self, we also probably, unknowingly, unconsciously, we think that self also is an object. So when Atman is there in the body also, when body is burnt into ashes, does Atman also get burnt? When Atman also get reduced into ashes, what happens to that object we think? That's how actually this question can come. So Atman is not the object, it is the subject, it is the awareness, it is the consciousness. So as a result, Atman doesn't happen anything. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, nachainam kledayantyapyo na shoshayati marutaha. Achedyoya madayoya makledya shoshayevacha, nitya sarva gatastanu achuloyam sanatana. So we all know this, Bhagavad Gita shloka. It cannot be burned, it cannot be dried, it cannot be killed, whatnot. And it is sanatana, it is ancient, eternal, and it is nitya. So nothing happens to the Atman when the body is burnt. Body is reduced into ashes, that's all.
Thank you, Swamiji. The other questions, dear seekers, we will take it in the next session. We are out of time for this session. So the next session will happen tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Indian time.
Maybe we should give some more time, I think. More time for questions.
Questions.
Let me try to do it tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much.